Welcome to North Shore Conversations. I'm Laura Swanson. North Shore Conversations is a podcast series being brought to you by the North Shore Alliance for Economic Development, which works on and focuses on issues of the North Shore region such as transportation, affordable housing, workforce pipeline, and the recruitment and retention of businesses here on the North Shore, with the overall goal to make it a region where people want to live, work, and play on the North Shore. So today's guest is Mary Sarris, the Executive Director of the North Shore Workforce Board. Mary, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Mary, wondering if we could start our conversation this morning about just providing an overview of your organization, its mission, the work it does, the priorities that you're focusing on.
Certainly. Well, we are the Mass High and North Shore Workforce Board, and that we are one of 16 boards around the state of Massachusetts, really enabled through federal legislation that recognizes that the workforce that the labor market, the workforce, the economy, ever-changing realities that require local people to know what's going on in the economy and to make sure that the workforce is ready for whatever might be going on in the economy right now. So I like to say that my job is to build a balance between the supply and the demand side of the labor market, meaning that every company can find the talent that they need, either to maintain them at a certain level or to grow and become stronger and a bigger organization, and that every individual working here, living here, can find a job that meets their personal needs and desires, but also allows them to earn a living and be economically self-sufficient. Now, to get to that balance may indeed be impossible, but that's our goal. That's our mission, to build that balance. And I know we're going to talk more, but I will tell you right now, we recognize we're very out of balance right now, so we can talk more about that. We provide our services through the one-stop career centers that are located across the state. We have a one-stop career center in Salem on Washington Street in Salem, and we have another career center right within North Shore Community College in Lynn. So we're very grateful to the college for hosting us like that. We have a career center for adults and a career center for youth specifically at the college in Lynn. The career center here in Salem is primarily focused on adults, but we can also service youth if they so desire. The career center in North Shore Community College in Lynn for youth is really set up for young people who are entering the workforce for the first or maybe second time, and helping them meet their needs.
So, Mary, let's kind of dive in a little bit deeper about so what are you seeing in terms of, what does the North Shore look like in terms of unemployment, labor force participation here in the region compared against the rest of the state?
From a statistical standpoint, the North Shore, along with the whole state of Massachusetts, is a very, very healthy economy. That we had the pandemic that slowed business down for a bit, but it had nothing to do with the businesses and what they were doing. It had everything to do with the public health crisis. As that began to dissipate, businesses started coming back in right where they left off, and growing and growing and growing across all industries. So we have a very healthy economy. Right now, we watch the unemployment rate very carefully, as you can imagine. And the unemployment rate right now on the North Shore, which is pretty much very close to the state's unemployment rate, is just right around 2.3%, which for me, having done this job for a long time, is very low. And it speaks to again, the vibrant nature of our economy, and that there are many jobs out there that people can get. It doesn't mean that we don't have people out of work. And in particular, we know we do have about 3,500 people collecting unemployment in the region of the North Shore, similarly low across statewide. And that is, most of those are somewhat cyclical unemployment issues, that come and go with the summer or the winter. For instance, we see a lot of layoffs when the tourism um, season ends. And so there's certain downsizing then. Over the holidays, retail goes up. Still, tourism might be low, comes back again in the spring and summer months. So there's certain up and down always happening within the economy. We have seen, and we can talk about this a little bit, but we've seen some increase in layoffs in the tech sector. And that I know has gotten a lot of coverage across the state and across the country. So a lot of corrections being done within that industry. But again, that's part of industry, and that happens, and we anticipate those folks being pretty easily put back to work.
Mary, let's talk about that a little bit more. Do you have a sense of why that is? What a timeline is? What does a recovery look like for that?
Um, well, I think there has been, and I'm not an economist or a business person, so I'll say that up front, but I think that there just has been some upheaval in the tech world. A certain amount, we all saw what happened with Twitter, and, those sorts of changes happen where a new person comes in and run it, lays off a lot of people. They have to correct to be coming back to the way they want to be. This one, a lot of our larger companies, Wayfair one, where they had some layoffs and some restructuring. And so we're just kind of watching that closely to see what would happen. We also know the irony about IT jobs is that IT skills are needed in the IT industry, but IT skills are also needed in every industry. And so you have IT people in healthcare, in manufacturing, a lot of IT people in retail. It's spread across all the industries. So it just takes folks to re-navigate to where they want to be. We see IT in public school systems desperate to hire people with IT backgrounds. So people need to people in that industry need to rethink where they want to go with it and make some decisions on that. We also know there's a huge anticipated and ongoing increase in cybersecurity skills. So you may be an IT person that knows how to program or knows how to link computers together and make a system work within a company. But do you have the skills in cybersecurity that allows you to get into that next level of IT? So again, lifelong learning, reskilling what you need, and then getting back to work. One of these jobs that are in great demand right now in IT is called the Certified Ethical Hacker. And you can get a certificate to prove that you have the skills to be a certified ethical hacker. Those people right now are in high demand because of our fear of the whole cybersecurity challenge that we all face, just as an example.
Mary, can you give us an overview of what the region looked like in terms of industry, jobs that have, great career paths, trajectories, those kinds of things? What does the North Shore industry look like for us?
We see that we have 3 priority industries. By that, I mean they employ a lot of people, but they have very strong career pathways within them so that people can move up once they get in the door for that. And the first one of that is the healthcare industry. That's the largest employer across our region. And that has, as you know, all sorts of career ladders within it that people can start as a certified nurse aide, become a licensed practical nurse, become a registered nurse, a nurse practitioner, right up to the end of that. And that each one of those brings more salary with it when it moves along. That's just one example. Of course, there's a lot of business needs in healthcare. That's also important. There's a lot of IT in healthcare, robotic surgery, and making sure that robot is working and programmed properly so the surgery goes well. So healthcare, again, lots of openings. caused by the pandemic, and a lot of people were under a great deal of stress by that, that industry itself. So we're trying to help people move into it and consider careers in that. The next industry that is a priority is manufacturing. That is a very important industry for us. And we anticipate it growing by quite a bit over the next several years, again, due to generally increase in the demand for the products that are made here, but also due, again, to the cybersecurity issue and the manufacturing of the microchip, which is a big industry, believe it or not, here on the North Shore. I don't think people always understand the advanced products that we make right here on the North Shore. So we have several companies who are in the chip business who are anticipating hiring up. We've been told 30 or 40,000 new jobs in the chip industry on the North Shore alone if all of this goes well. So that's another one part of manufacturing that's growing. Another is the life sciences industry, and we do consider that manufacturing. They're manufacturing whatever it might be, COVID vaccines, and any of the new inventions that are being made. We're anticipating about 40,000 new jobs in life sciences across Massachusetts over the next 3 or 4 years. So they're growing, and there'll be a lot of opportunity for people to get training in that. Of course, we also see construction trades very critical. We're going to be doing a lot of offshore wind work over the next 2 to 5 years out of Salem Harbor, and there will be jobs available for people with the skilled trade background, and on top of which they learn how to do that trade in the offshore wind capacity. So we'll be running training programs in that as well. And the other industry that's struggling right now is education. Lots of openings for teachers. We actually have a little internship program for our high school seniors who can do an internship in their own school district in the elementary or middle school to see if they might like to be a teacher. So we have a lot of school districts involved in that right now. So really, I could go on, every industry, but the important ones, healthcare, IT, manufacturing, construction trades, those are the ones with a lot of opportunity there.
So, Mary, let's just kind of talk about how a business might interface with you, right, in terms of what their needs are. And then how does someone looking for a job or looking to make a career change, how do they interact with the work that you do?
As you can imagine, currently, right now, we have a lot of companies working with us because they are seriously struggling to fill openings. I didn't mention financial services, but that's another industry that's hiring people. So we have business service representatives in our one-stop center who are charged with understanding the needs of these industries and working closely with them to help them fill the jobs. And I'm going to say it's not easy. And we can get to that in a minute of why it's not easy. But through the one-stop center, you can post a job, you can work with somebody to understand what the job is so that we can find the right people for you. We also are running many, many training programs. So we have companies who kind of become involved in the operation of those training programs. So they come in and meet the students during training. They provide tours of their companies so that they get to see the students. And in their mind, they're thinking, oh, I might hire that one and that one when this is over. We like those two. And then most of our trainees have jobs before the training ends. This system works very well. After the training or near the end of training, we have job fairs where the businesses come in and meet the students and interview them. And like I said, many of them are made offers there or soon after. What we also do have, though, is we can help companies apply for funding to either train new employees or upskill existing ones. That money is now available through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's not always easy for companies to apply for state grants, even though it is easy to do, but it's just not in their DNA to go for state grants like that. So we as a WIB can either help them apply for the money, or we can apply ourselves for the money for their industry. Right now, we have a grant with 2 hospitals that are looking for mental health specialists. So we applied for a grant on their behalf, and we're doing outreach, recruitment, and training in partnership with North Shore Community College for people going into that particular field.
Mary, where do the grants come from? What state agency? What organization are we talking about?
I know it's kind of interesting to say this, because you would think it would come out of one place and you could just go to one place and get all these, but it is spread out across different bureaucracies, and we can help the businesses interpret and make their way through that. For instance, right now, Commonwealth Corporation, which is part of the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, manages a lot of these grants. So you can go to comcor.org, look up resources, and you can find those grants right there. There's also grants that come out of an organization called the Mass Tech Council, which is through the Executive Office of Economic Development. So that's for a lot of manufacturing training, goes through that. The Mass Clean Energy Council has a lot of grants around clean energy. So if you're a company who's trying to maybe convert your facility to be a clean energy driven organization, we can help folks with that. Or if you are a company that employs people who know how to do that work, we can help you with those grants.
Mary, is there a cost for businesses working with you?
No, there is not a cost working with us. Some of these grants do have match requirements. So one of them, which is very popular, lots of companies go for this grant, is called the Workforce Training Fund Grant. And that is specifically for companies to upskill their existing workers. There's a small grant that goes up to $30,000 to train a small number of people. There is a larger grant that goes up to $250,000 to train for a longer period of time and to train more employees. Again, all for your own employees. That grant does have a match requirement, and the match is basically that the employees need to be on the payroll while they're in training. So that salary that they're being paid by the company while they're in training is the match for that grant. Other grants just want another form of match. So we can interpret that for the companies.
So, Mary, I just want to take just a couple more questions on this, just in case people, as you said, businesses aren't typically maybe familiar with this. So, in terms of this grant application, the businesses, do they get to choose the type of training they want for their employees? And is there a list of sort of trainers? So, is it also sort of administrative skills, technical skills? Is it the whole? Is there a whole wide spectrum of training opportunities?
Yes, the Workforce Training Fund program does have a specific list of approved vendors. However, I'm told that if a company wants to use a vendor and it's not on the list, I'm told it's not hard to get on the list. And so we can help that company apply to get on that list if it's not on there. But right now, it can be real technical skills. There's can be certain sorts of computer skills that people need to learn to be productive. It can be customer service skills that a company needs. It can be sales. A big one is sales and marketing, that they want their employees to get better at that particular field. All of those fields have programs on this list that companies can choose from. Or again, get your favorite vendor on that list, and then you can get the money for that training.
Great. Now, Mary, from So on the flip side, how does someone who's looking for their first time job, or someone who's maybe who's currently underemployed and is looking for advancement, or someone who's sort of thinking, you know what, I need to make a career change. What does that experience look like for them?
Well, at the Career Center, we do our services both remotely or in person. So you can work with a career coaching advisor through Zoom, like we're doing right now, or you can come into our Career Center in Salem or in Lynn and would work one-on-one in person with somebody, whatever your preference is. We actually just redid our Career Center here in Salem so that it's a little more open feeling and more hopefully welcoming to people. So you can do that. You can just drop in, or you can call and make an appointment, whatever's best for you, and begin to work on this issue. I mean, we have some interesting programs. One is called TORC. It stands for something. I don't know what it stands for. But it will take what you do now. Let's say you were a bank teller. They don't even call them that anymore. But let's say you were a teller, and now you want to become a salesman in manufacturing. It will take the skills that you have as a teller, translate over to the skills that you need to become a salesman at a manufacturing company, and then give you a step-by-step plan on where you have to learn new skills to get one of those jobs. For instance, that's an example. How do you translate your existing skills toward a new career? And that's a tool that'll help you do that.
And that's working with someone at the Career Center.
Yes. I think you can do that remotely too. I do think they can do that remotely.
And is there a cost for that for people that are looking for that?
No, nothing at the Career Center costs anything. You can also get hooked up with the training programs, again, that you're looking for. We're similar in the sense that we have a list of approved training vendors that we send people to. Salem State, North Shore Community College, obviously those are on the list. A lot of private vendors are on the list. Some of our tech school programs are on that list. So you can pick from that list where you want to go as an individual. So that means we're just paying you the tuition for you to go to Salem State and take a course or 2 or 3 or certificate program in which there will be other learners that are not coming from us. So you're just one of the students. On the other hand, we also have programs right now that are fully funded through grants to the tech schools of the community colleges, and the slots are all open for new people. So it's what we call a cohort model. So you might have, Essex Tech has quite a few of those evening programs. They have auto tech, for instance, welding, culinary. Every once in a while, they have a healthcare program like that. And you would be together as a cohort of, say, 10 or 12 students together learning that program. So you start and end at the same time. And, some people prefer that. Others say, look, I just want to learn how this particular IT skill, Salem State's got the course right now. I just want to go to that course. And you can go and do that as well. And again, sometimes there are eligibility requirements for these programs, primarily that you are either unemployed or underemployed, meaning that you are not making enough money to be economically self-sufficient based on the size of your family. So you can come in and get the tuition paid for those programs.
So Mary, I'm really so happy to be talking with you, especially sort of in this current workforce demand environment, right? Talking about the services available both for the business owners and for people that are looking for a career, for job opportunities. I'm just wondering if we can kind of close out our segment, because I know that your organization also has a youth program. And just wondering if you could talk a little bit, you sort of alluded to that internship program, but what does that youth program look like?
Right. Well, I will tell you, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has completely invested in what we call the emerging workforce through us. Everybody knows this is our future, and we know Students have been through a really hard time with COVID, right? They have been kicked around for 2 or 3 years, and left senseless sometimes, and are and yet we need to drag them back to reality and help them make the decisions that they want to make. So we have several different programs. We have, again, a youth career center in North Shore Community College in Lynn, and you can go and get all the help that you need right there. We are also in the schools themselves. So we will go to pretty much every high school at one time or another through the year, sometimes a lot of times, and sometimes, just one or two visits. And we can help young people say, they'll all say, I really want a job. I want a job. That's a very popular statement. So we have funding to help you get into a private sector job. Or we have funding that pairs you with a public sector job so that you can get that first or second job, which is so critical and important to applying for and making career decisions along that line. This year, we have a couple of unique programs. We have this teacher internship program that's embedded. I think I already spoke about that, embedded within the school systems themselves. You can also, we have given kind of at the last minute, which we're very grateful for, a grant to have STEM internships for high school students. We usually look for the seniors for these internships. And this is where the STEM industry will begin to welcome in what they perceived and hope will be their future workforce and begin to introduce you to what STEM jobs are like. So you might think, I don't want to be a lab person, people might be thinking it's all right, and that's part of STEM. But there's also, for instance, we have an internship up at the Beverly Airport, and that indeed is a STEM-related internship, how to make the airplanes work, how to make the airport work. So you get a chance to see that part of science and technology going on there. We're also, we have several STEM companies that hire. We a company called Medtronic up in Cummings, not in Cummings, I'm sorry, in Cherry Hill Park. They make heart catheters for people in heart surgery, very critical job. And they run an internship every year for young women who are seniors in high school and who think they want to be an engineer or are leaning in that direction. And then they bring them in once a week, practically the whole, I think it's noon to 3 on a Friday afternoon. And they go through a whole program of learning what it means to be an engineer. The interesting part is they actually build a heart catheter while they're in there. So they understand what that means. And they also do other sorts of projects, like, is the floor set up properly for manufacturing, that sort of thing. So that's been very successful. And we have others like that are really exciting opportunities for young people. And they are paid. These are paid internships. So they get basically, it's a 100-hour internship, can be over the summer. We're hoping it can be expanded into the school year. So we're hoping Department of Education allows us to do that. But it's basically $15 an hour for 100 hours. I'm sorry, or 1,000 hours. What does that become?
100 hours, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, what $15 an hour comes to $1,500. I need to take one of those internships, but so it's a really good learning opportunity for young people to try this. We also are involved heavily in the early college movement that is going on across our area, and that is putting high school students into college level courses, even if it's just one college level course, so that they are broadening their horizons about what they can do. And it's a wonderful experience. Salem State and North Shore Community College, both incredibly involved in this early college work. As part of that, though, our Youth Career Center goes in and does career awareness workshops for the students while they're in the early college program, so they can begin to think about all right, now I think I can do college. And let me tell you, most people, a young kid may say, I'm not ready for college. I'm going to tell them they are ready. Give it a whirl. You can do it. And both those schools are very supportive of the students while they're in it. And then while they're in it, they can begin to think, so, okay, so what would I like to major in if I was going to college? And you can see it and talk to the college advisors about how to make that decision. So that's also another effort we're in, which is just a wonderful thing. I wish it was around when I was in high school. One of the things we know right now is because of this vibrant economy, we have 2 job postings for every 1 person who's unemployed in Massachusetts. So that means we have a huge labor shortage. And we're not alone in this, but Massachusetts in particular is strained by the fact that we have so many jobs and not enough people working. Now, the issue is because we have a 2.3% unemployment rate, meaning basically everybody is working. You can easily find a job right now. But we're trying to get at pockets of the population that have not really come back from the pandemic yet, and trying to help those folks make that shift. And that is a lot of what we're trying to do right now. And so we want those people who might be listening, who are not back to work. Some of it may be a daycare problem. It may be a health, it might be child daycare, it might be elder care that they're involved in. It could be a transportation problem there. They just don't know how to get to where they need to go. All of those things, we would like to help people work their way through so that we can help them get back to work, because maybe they want to, they just can't figure out how to do it. So I'd like to very much reach out to anybody listening who is saying, yeah, I got to get back to work. I better get back to work soon, but I don't know where I'm going to go. Please come and see us, and we can help you with that issue.
Mary, thanks so much for joining us. I think the information that you shared in terms of what the region looks like, what the opportunities are for career pathways, right, both for emerging the workforce and emerging industries, services available to business owners, to job seekers, and our younger youth at no cost to them, is really a wonderful resource that your organization provides. So I want to thank you for coming on and look forward to having you come back again so we can talk about the different kinds of opportunities and challenges that the region are facing, as you being the key organization handling all of the workforce issues. So Mary, great information. Thank you so much for sharing it with everyone.
And thank you for having me.